Hi everyone, once again welcome back to my channel, and this is 2026. So if you're new here, my name is Koda FS, your trusted Forex mentor in Africa that is probably giving tips on how to be profitable in the Forex market. So I made a video last year and I got some comment. I should elaborate it and probably do some practical in it. So today I'm going to be doing practical on one of the types that I had mentioned. So last year I made a video talking about 3 trading strategies that are very profitable, that every newbie trader or every beginner trader needs to use to be profitable in the market. And what are these strategies? I talked about London Breakout session. I talked about support and resistance level, and then I also talked about news trading. So today I'm going to be elaborating on London Breakout session. Just a recap of what I talked about last year. I had mentioned about the first strategy, which is London Breakout session. I mentioned that if you are a trader in Africa, London session is a session that most African traders are very cognizant with, that they normally trade. Why is that? That is because the London session time here normally correspond with the UK time, because obviously when we are in 8 o'clock, they are probably UK, they are normally more than probably 1 hour behind or 1 hour ahead of us. So as an African trader, if you are trading in Africa, the London session normally correspond with the London session in UK. So it is a good time to trade as a new beginner trader or as a professional trader living in Africa. Yeah. So today I'm going to be elaborating on what I meant by London breakout session being a very good time to trade and being a very nice strategy and a profitable strategy that profit newbie traders and obviously professional traders. Okay, let's do it. Normally, what do you look out for? You look out for Asian range. Most people, some professional traders, they look out for Asian range because Asian session, they normally don't do much. Yeah, when you go through the chart and you look at Asian session, not much happens in Asian session. So if you are a London session trader, if you're a trader that likes to trade in the morning, that likes to trade during the London session, you want to be looking at a breakout from the Asian range. How do you break out from the Asian range? You take as probably low as let's say 30 minutes. Yeah. So let me just make the screen a bit bigger. All right. So what do you have here? What we've got here? We've got one Asian range here. We've got another Asian range here. We've got another Asian range here. We've got another Asian range here. So these are what happened during the Asian session. Yeah. This high and lows are what happened during the Asian session. This high and low here are what happened during the Asian session. Now, if you look closely at what happened here, this is the Asian session here. This is what happened throughout Asian session, which means what is Asian session? This will happen throughout the time that probably when Asian open. Of course, as we know that Asians are way ahead of the Nigerian time. So this is the market that happened throughout all of the Asian session before it got to the London session around 8, like I mentioned before. So if you pay close attention, you see that not much happened here. This is the high of the Asian session, and obviously this is the low of the Asian session. Let me mark it out. All right. So this is the low. This is the low of the Asian session. This is the high of the Asian session. Now let me clean out. Let me clean out the box. Let me clean out everything and probably draw out the low and the high of the Asian session. Now this is the high of the Asian session, and this is the low, and this is the low of the Asian session, of course. Now if you pay close attention, you see that very little happened here, obviously. So what I was talking about in the Asian session, in the London session breakout, because I'm concerned about this topic, is probably to elaborate more on how London breakout session is a very nice strategy for newbie traders and even professional traders. All right, good. We'll come back to the chart. So if this is the high of the Asian session, the high of the Asian session, and if this is the low, this is the low of the Asian. If this is the high, if this is the high of the Asian session, and this is the low of the Asian session, you can see that not much happened here compared to a lot of things that happened during the London session. Because when you break out from this low, it is no longer an Asian session. Now that brings me to why I'm making this video. So if this is the high of the Asian session that happened, and this is the low that happened, as a trader that wants to trade London session, you want to wait for the market. If the market is bullish, obviously we know that if the market is bullish, it probably goes like high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. So this is like a low, a high, lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, like that. Lower high, higher high. So that's not what we're about today. What we're about today is, if this is all that happened in the Asian session, and you as a trader is coming into the market to come and trade London session, you want to wait. Since the market obviously is bullish, because you can see that it goes from lower low to lower high, lower low to lower high, lower low to lower high, like that. So now let me not get the charts complicated. Let me not make it look rough. I want to make it look as simple as possible. Obviously, like I mentioned before, I said this is the Asian high that happened on this day, and this is the Asian low that happened. As a trader that wants to come and trade London session, you want to wait, because obviously this is a bearish chart. It's a bearish market. You want to wait for the market to break below the Asian range. If the market does not break below the Asian range, since it's a bearish trend, you are not looking for a trade yet, because you want a situation whereby the market breaks below this Asian range, they come back to retest it. When it breaks below this Asian range, you are now sure that, okay, it has broken below the Asian range, and you want it to retest it. No, they have retested here, so you want to be looking for a trade around here. You want to be looking for a trade around here. Why is that? Because you waited. Now, when they got to this candle, Asian range closed. When they got to this candle, Asian range closed. So you don't want to be entering a trade inside the Asian range, inside here. You want a situation whereby the trade breaks out. It breaks out from the Asian session. It breaks out from the Asian session and come back to retest this line, this zone. Come back to retest this zone. Then you can be looking for a trade in this place. All right, let's see if I can take it to like a much lower time frame, like probably like let's say 5 minutes. I'll take my time to clear it again and make you see what I'm showing you on 15 minutes rather. Sorry, it is 15 minutes. So obviously on 15 minutes, like I said before, this is the Asian high that happened on this day, and this is the Asian low that happened on this Asian low that happened on this day. All right, good. So like I was saying, in 30 minutes time frame, I was saying that since it's a bearish trend, because obviously you can see that they are going down, they keep going down. Good. You want to wait as a trader have come to trade the London session. Why it is called London breakout session is because you always want to wait for there to be a breakout from the Asian session that happened just probably few hours before. So if this is the high and this is the low, you want to wait for the market to come below, to break below this low. When it breaks below this low, now you're having interest in it. Then come back to retest the low. Obviously, when it came back to retest the low, this is where it retested it. So you want to be looking for a trade anywhere around this zone. Now that it have broke it, once it breaks that session, which is the Asian session, you want to look for a test. What do I mean by break? If this is high for the Asian session and there is a low for the session, you want a situation whereby the market breaks below this Asian low. Once it breaks below this low, once the market have now broken below this low, you want a situation whereby the market goes and come back to retest this low that broke. Then you can now be looking for a confirmation. You can now be looking for a confirmation around this zone before selling. So you can be selling anywhere around this point because they have broken the low. If they had not broken this low, you rest. You'll be waiting for a breakout. That is why it is called a breakout. A London breakout. That is why I call it London breakout, because if the Asian range has happened, you want a situation whereby the market breaks below or breaks higher than the high of the Asian session, or than the low of the Asian session. Then wait for it to retest that place that it broke. Then wait for it to retest that place that it broke. Then you can now be looking for an entry to enter. Yeah, it is just that simple. Now look at the situation here again. Let me give another example. So we used this as the illustration. This is what we used to illustrate this video. This is what we used to illustrate this video before. So this is, and after all of this happened during anything from it happened during the London session. Now it came back to another day. This is another new day. Anything that has to do, once you see this range, it means that this is Asian range. This is all that happened in Asian range. Now this is even a more bigger market for an Asian range. Obviously, like we said in the Asian range, this is the high, yeah, and this is the low. This is the high of the Asian range, and this is the low of the Asian range. All of these things that happened inside. All of these things that happened happened inside the Asian range. Now, like I said before, when you wake up in the morning, because like I said before, our time corresponds with UK time. So when UK is opening, like the UK session is opening, this is where it opens from. This is where it continued from. It continued from here. Now, when they continue from, they broke out. You can see that this candle broke this low. This candle broke this low. It broke this low here. So now that they've broken it, you want to come and see a retest of that zone. Where is the retest of the zone? This is the retest of the zone. They broke it, they sold down. London continued from here. They sold up to this price and then came back here. London sold up to this price. Sorry, Asian. They sold up to this price. Then London, London continued from here. This London open. They continued from it. Now sold below this price, came back as a retest zone. They came back to retest it in this zone. So as a trader, either newbie or professional, obviously, if you want to master the art of London breakout session, you always want to wait for London session to break from the Asian session. When they break from the Asian session, you want to see them retesting it. Like I said, if all of this is the Asian session, if this is the high and this is the high of the Asian session, they sold up to this place. Now this is the low, this is the high, this is the low, this is the high, this is the low of the Asian session. Now the Asian session, they sold from this place up to, they sold from this price up to this price before they closed. So what do you want to do in the London session? You want a situation whereby whereby London continue their access from here and they come to retest this low. Why are you waiting for them to retest it? Because that's the only place that you can get a proper confirmation as a confluence to be confident enough to take or enter a trade. So you want to wait for London session to buy back into this zone. Buy back into this zone, then continue the sell. So when they buy back into this zone, normally if they don't buy back into this zone, you might be skeptical to take it. I'm talking about confluences or strategy that will give you confidence. You want to wait for them to buy back into this zone. When they buy back into this zone, you can now be looking for a situation to sell, to continue the sell. Why are you continuing the sell? Because they have retested this zone and then they have given you a confirmation. Another video, I will talk about how to get confirmation. But in this one, I just want to talk about London breakout session as one of the strategies that I had talked about last year. So this is it. This is the low of the Asian session. This is the high of the Asian session because it's a bearish trade. This is the high of the Asian session and this is the low of the Asian session. So, and this is the low of the Asian session. So when London broke it, they came back to retest it around here. Now they came back to test. So if you are looking for a trade, some traders some traders might even go as far as probably waiting to get to this zone, come back again to retest this zone, then they can now sell. So that is that about London breakout session. In my next video, I'll be talking about support and resistance zone, because I'll be elaborating, rather, because I've talked about support and resistance zone. I'll be elaborating or showing practical terms like this of support and resistance zone. And then the next video should probably be about the news trading, the news trading. Of course, if you have a question or if there is something you do not understand about everything that I've elaborated so far in this chat, you can drop it in the comment section, of course, and then I will do more to explain better. Once again, if you are looking for a Telegram group to get free signals for you to be profitable in the market, you can join my signal group, because I will drop it. I'll add it to this video in my YouTube. Once again, don't forget to trade smart. Keep your stop loss tight and your take profit pretty tight as well. Until we meet again, peace out.